Hey guys, welcome to Series World. Today I'm going to explain a romance drama series called Maxton Hall from 2024. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. The first episode opens with James lying in bed naked with Cyril. His sister Lydia is blowing up his phone, but he doesn't notice the calls, so they go straight to voicemail. Lydia tells her brother that she has messed up big time and they can't let their father find out. Meanwhile, James has gone outside the house to meet with his other friends, who are lying beside the pool. Cyril's brother is also there with his friends. They start joking around about how James is so popular among the girls. Cyril's brother jumps on him and they both fall into the pool and start playing with water. That's when Lydia bursts in, crying and sobbing. James hurries out of the pool to check up on his baby sister. Lydia tells him that it's over for her. Their dad won't tolerate another scandal from her. James asks her to tell him the details, and Lydia tells him that Ruby Bell burst in while she was doing something shady. James is confused about who Ruby Bell is. The scene cuts to Ruby riding a bus. A pregnant woman is standing near her, and Ruby, after noticing her, gladly gives her seat to the pregnant lady. A teacher of hers also gets on the bus. Ruby starts talking with him about the books she read that he suggested. Ruby hands him the paper necessary for her recommendation letter for Oxford University. But currently she's studying at one of the top schools named Maxton Hall. This is a private school for all the Nepo babies of the country. Unlike her, they get all the opportunities and facilities they need in life. But she had to work hard to get a scholarship for this school. Even though she is invisible to them, Ruby can't make a mistake in front of them if she wants to get the scholarship into Oxford University. Ruby's friend Lynn comes and hugs her on her way to class. Lynn was also one of the elites until her parents lost their jobs and got divorced. Later, in Mr. Sutton's class, Lynn and Ruby sit together. In the philosophy class, Ruby gets favored by the teacher instead of Lydia, which clearly makes her very jealous of Ruby. After the class ends, Ruby starts heading home with Lynn, but she notices that she has left one of the important pages of her recommendation letter documents. So, Ruby runs back to Mr. Sutton's room. But Ruby was definitely not ready for what she saw after opening the door. Inside, Lydia and Mr. Sutton are seen passionately making out. Shocked, Ruby lets go of the documents that she was holding. But she quickly comes back to her senses and hurriedly picks up the documents and runs away from the room. The scene changes to Ruby and Lynn attending the event committee's meeting. They are preparing to arrange a welcome party. Among the members of the committee, Kieran seems to be in love with Ruby. Lynn teases both Kieran and Ruby about this. While they're doing so, James enters the room and keeps staring at Ruby. Ruby ignores his stares until he grabs a chair and sits in front of her. James then borrows Ruby from the meeting for a moment. James's attitude is quite insufferable, as he's the most arrogant person Ruby has ever seen. James hands her a good amount of money to keep her mouth shut. Ruby is confused, and James misunderstands this and hands her some more money. Ruby declines his offer, which makes James confused. James then mocks her for being poor and suggests she take the money as it will help her pay the tuition fees in college. Ruby takes the money and drops it on the ground and leaves the room. She then goes to do her part-time job. She earns her own money. While heading home, she meets her sister. They go home while chatting and laughing. After entering the house, both sisters greet their disabled father. They then cook together in the house while laughing and enjoying the time. After they're done cooking, Ruby and her parents enjoy their dinner. Her sister Ember also joins them, wearing a pretty dress that she made herself. They seem like a pretty happy little family, and their parents are very proud of them too. After dinner, Ruby goes upstairs to sleep. She is saving money for her father to install a stair lift for him. Their previous one broke down months ago and he hasn't been upstairs since. In the morning, Ruby goes to see Mr. Sutton. She tells him to give her documents back. Mr. Sutton informs her that he has written the recommendation letter for her too, but Ruby refuses to get the letter from him. She explains that she has no business with his personal life, but if the secrets get revealed, she'll lose the value of her letter. Sutton understands and gives her documents back. Ruby lies to Lynn about this incident and tells her that it was her fault that Sutton can't give her a letter anymore. So, Ruby has decided to approach the headmaster for a recommendation letter. While she's heading her way, James suddenly pulls her into a room. He asks her why she is doing this and not taking the money. Ruby clearly seems to be done with him, but James can't get his head around her actions. So James thinks that maybe she wants to be intimate with him because, after all, he's the hottest guy in the school. This makes Ruby more disgusted, and she clearly tells him that the only thing she wants him to do is to keep at least a 2-meter distance from her. That's it. Ruby then hurriedly leaves the room and joins Lynn to go see the game where the headmaster will attend. Meanwhile, the coach is hyping up the team for the game. They must win against Eastview College. James is the most impactful player on the team. While leaving for the game, James reminds his teammate Alistar not to take revenge on McCormick. But Alistar seems to have something else in mind. The lacrosse game begins. Maxton Hall seems to be the clear winner until Alistar jumps on McCormick and starts beating him. But quickly, his teammates manage to pull him away from McCormick. He is then told to stand in the audience. Meanwhile, Ruby has also arrived at the game. Alistar goes and stands near her. They start having some small talk. Alistar introduces himself to her, and they shake hands. James watches this happen and loses attention, which results in the opposing team gaining an upper hand on him. But ultimately, Maxton Hall wins the game. The headmaster also arrives at the game to celebrate their win. Ruby excuses herself from Alistar and goes to talk with the headmaster. But the headmaster seems to look down on her. But he decides to write her the letter only if she can properly arrange the welcome party for the students and their parents. Ruby is grateful for the chance, and she assures him that she'll do her best. Ruby starts leaving after talking with the headmaster when she bumps into James. James tells her to stay away from Alistar as she doesn't belong among them. He also mocks her for being poor and having no connections. The sky becomes gloomy, and it starts pouring. The rain hides the tears that are flowing down Ruby's face. She gets on the bus to head back home. Meanwhile, James and Lydia also get picked up from the school in a fancy car. In the car, James asks Lydia about Sutton, and she replies that he has kept his mouth shut and pretends that she doesn't exist. James understands and holds her hand to comfort her. After coming back home, they meet their parents, and they seem to be very delighted about them. Ruby also arrives at her house. She stays up late at night to work on arranging the party. She is also diligent about it at the committee meeting. Finally, the day of the party comes, and everyone has arrived in their best attire. The party is going smoothly, and the event committee members, especially Ruby, are keeping a sharp eye on it. Mr. Sutton comes up to her and asks for some time to talk to her. They go to a quiet corner. Meanwhile, James and his lackeys are watching them from the staircase. James even takes some scandalous pictures of the two of them. Sutton tells Ruby that he knew Lydia from before. It didn't start as a teacher-student relationship. Ruby is annoyed by this point, so she tells him that it's none of her business. The headmaster comes to talk with Ruby and congratulates her for arranging a splendid party. While they're talking, a bunch of exotic dancers enter the party and start dancing in the middle of the party. The DJ is also playing music for their dance. The people attending the party are shocked by this, not to mention the headmaster and Ruby. The headmaster heads to the dancers, and they even start rubbing themselves on him. He tries to push them away, but they are quite stubborn. In fact, anyone who's approaching them is getting rubbed on by them. James looks at Ruby with a smug look, and Ruby realizes who's behind this little prank. She pulls him away and asks why he did this, but before they can end their conversation, both of them get called into the headmaster's office. The headmaster is disappointed with Ruby, and he won't write her the letter, but he also knows that James was behind this, as he was seen paying off the DJ. So James gets suspended from the lacrosse team. The headmaster then tells James to work on the event management committee to redeem himself, and tells Ruby not to repeat the mistake at the next donor gala. Ruby assures him that it won't repeat, but she can't accept working with James on the same team. Both of them then get kicked out of the office. James starts mocking her about working together with him, but Ruby assures him that she won't let her chance to get into Oxford slip away because of someone like him. And that's how today's thrilling episode ends. To watch more explanations of these kinds of series, click on the videos on your screen. And don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last, thanks for watching.